Good morning and welcome to Ireland AM, streaming live on your phone from your tent at EP, probably.
I'm sure people at EP are 100% watching us in their tent.
If they are, I'm worried.
Yeah. Coming up at the show today, the Premier League is back with a bang. Manchester United, they're top of the league, but will it be their year? We'll be talking through all the biggest stories in sport this weekend.
In fairness, it's the only game that's been played so far. Anyway, with the annual Pink Run just around the corner, we'll be chatting to two of the breast cancer survivors who'll be leading the pack.
And it's nearly back to school time, so we've advice on how you can help your kids that are doing that transition from primary to secondary school. Bless them.
He's the lawyer turned crime author who maybe knows just a bit too much about murder. Writer Steve Cavanagh will be with us.
And with nearly half of men under 30 living in fear of hair loss, we'll be looking at some of the available options for treatment.
And ahead of Comic-Con next weekend, we've got some Batman, Sinister Samurai and even the Alien from Alien, all joining us in studio after 11.
In fairness, I look like the Alien from Alien after EP, you know, even after just one night in the tent.
Absolutely. They're all watching, so that's what they'll be after the weekend.
You saw me before makeup. Yeah. That's me every morning.
You said it, Daphne, you said it.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
This afternoon we can expect cloudy skies overall with a few spells of sunshine in the east and south. Temperatures will range from 17 to 19 degrees. This evening we'll see continued heavy cloud with a chance for showers, particularly in the north and west. Temperatures will run between 16 and 19 degrees. And tonight will be largely dry with some clear spells and the odd light burst of rainfall. Overnight temperatures will run from 12 to 14 degrees.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Now let's have a first check on your morning paper, starting with the Irish Times, which goes with the headline, "Boy lay in wait to attack Army chaplain." The paper reports Gardaí believe that a 16-year-old boy from Galway who stabbed an Army chaplain on Thursday night had been lying in wait to attack Defence Forces personnel due to grievances over Ireland's overseas military activities.
Front page of the Irish Independent goes with the same story, writing teenager who stabbed army priest radicalised online by ISIS. The paper states that the boy being questioned over the stabbing of army chaplain Father Paul Murphy had been reposting propaganda from terrorist organisations online.
Again, on the chaplain story, the Irish Examiner writes for its headline, "Terror linked to stabbing probed." The paper reports that soldiers on duty at the barracks were forced to fire at least 5 shots into the air to deter the 16-year-old.
Onto the tabloids now, and the Irish Daily Mail goes with teenager planned attack on chaplain for days. They add that the attack at Renmore Barracks on Thursday night is believed to have been planned days in advance.
The Irish Mirror writes, "Terror teen stabs priest," adding that Father Murphy has since posted on social media the words, "I'm doing okay, all will be well."
And we wish him the best of luck in recovery. I know Father Paul, and he's been a very dedicated chaplain to the Army. The Irish Sun also reporting on the stabbing, leading on their front page with the headline, "Terror teen knifes priest."
As does the Irish Star, who have gone with the headline, "Army priest stab terror."
And finally, the Herald writes, "Lone wolf boy had terror obsession." The paper reports that within hours of the attack, detectives raided the boy's family home and seized his laptop, stating that he had been reposting disturbing material from organisations affiliated with terror groups.
Now, you might have heard that this year's electric picnic is well underway down in County Leash, with Calvin Harris and Codeline expected to headline tonight. And in the spirit of the festivities, we've got the results of a new poll asking what are your absolute must-haves when prepping for overnight camping.
Among the most essential items, as voted by you, toilet paper, dry shampoo, and, quote, double the amount of socks you think you'd need. I'd say triple.
You say triple?
I'd say nearly triple, because last time I was at a festival, we got rained out and all of my clothes ended up in a puddle, which meant I was a very soggy boy for a weekend.
That sounds lovely. Soggy bottom boy, St. Constant Sorrow. Sorry. So we want to know what you think, whether it's camping out, day tripping, or just heading out on the town for the night. What are the things you just won't leave home without? You can let us know on WhatsApp at 0896 111 111. My must-have thing for camping is a hotel booking. I'm not a camper fan.
Yeah, it's you need the essential is the bag of mandarins or little oranges that you bring and never eat that sit in the corner as you open tube after tube of Pringles throughout the weekend.
Yeah, you tell yourself you need vitamin C, you're going to eat the fruit and veg.
Definitely day 3, I'm 100% going to need this, and then
no.
Bag of mandarins, that's the first time I've ever heard that. You're so good.
You can bring kiwis probably either.
Yeah, kiwis could work.
Yeah, I think so. Hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it right. I accidentally ate 6 kiwis, not accidentally.
The keyword accidentally there. How do you accidentally eat 6 kiwis?
Okay, I ate 6 kiwis last night. I don't know, I was just peeling them, and before I knew it, I'd eaten 6 of them, and I'm in digestive distress, to put it mildly, and they're just laughing at me, and I may as well tell you all now, because they're just going to be dropping Easter eggs about it all morning. So yes, I'm wearing a jumpsuit, I ate 6 kiwis, my bad.
Do you know what, it could be worse. You could have to use Portaloos if you're at a festival.
True.
So thank God for brick and mortar.
That's another thing. Do not wear a jumpsuit at a festival.
That's sage advice.
Yes.
Sage advice. My friend always says, she says, you're better looking at it than looking for it. So bring everything, you know?
To a festival, though, do you not have to be a bit more concise in your packing? But seriously, when everything did get soggy, belonged to you. Sorry.
Hang it out the next day and hope for the best.
But like, what lessons have you learned since? If you were going to EP today, what would you do?
To not go to EP. That's probably the lesson that I learned when the forecast isn't great, you know? No, the lessons so after many years of trekking, battery pack is the absolute essential.
Absolutely.
It's the only essential thing you need.
Yes.
Battery pack and whatever else will fit in your backpack along with a bag of cans.
Yeah, 34% of festival goers said that a portable charger is indispensable. So you're absolutely bang on the money there. Because like once you lose your phone, you can't contact people you're with, you get lost. How do you find a meeting point? So absolutely. And then 17% consider earplugs a must-have item.
I would say Compeed blister packs.
Well,
because who wears wellies during the year? Nobody.
Yeah.
Who wears those boots during the year? Not very many people. And they go, oh, look at my lovely festival shoes. And then your feet are peeling after about 3 hours.
Don't bring
Compeeds
fancy shoes.
Yeah.
You bring a battered old pair of runners now. That's all you need.
Yeah, but do they not... Sorry, do they not get soggy as well?
Oh, you throw them out then.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's not very sustainable.
But I don't know, because apparently 28% meticulously pre-plan their outfits. So I don't know, would old tackies do the job there, would they?
Have you meticulously pre-planned your outfits?
Absolutely. They've been laid out on the bed. I have them. I was even to my husband, I was like, what are you wearing?
Really? Are you going to match? Are you
No,
going
we're
to
not
be
going to match.
I
I just wanted to make sure it was appropriate for what I was wearing, yeah. Complimentary, really, I should say.
Poor God.
I know. He didn't appreciate it.
But you genuinely have all your outfits planned?
Yeah. Well, like, I have a few things I can mix and match. Depends how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even
Glitter? Have you the glitter packed? Are you a glitter girl?
I think we're beyond that. I think we've gone back to the boho, kind of like plain...
Coachella kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Do send us pictures.
Oh, they'll be on my Instagram, don't worry. I'll put them all there.
I can't wait to see them.
I want to see the pictures of Cahill. I want to see what you picked out for him more than you.
His cowboy boots.
A little crop.
Yeah, and the glitter everywhere. Yeah.
And the crop jeans. Oh my God. Anyway, the little vest. Woo. Anyway, up next, man, you may be at the top of the league, but for how long? We'll be chatting sport after this short break. See you in 3.
Welcome back. Well, the Premier League is back up and running with Manchester United sitting at the top of the league, albeit being only one of 2 teams to play. Sports broadcaster Jonathan Higgins joins us now. But first, here's a pick of the headlines.
Don't kick the Man United fans away. It's the first time they've been top of the league.
Sorry,
for
they're getting
ages.
optimistic on day one.
The Irish Independent leads with Premier Crew returns. It writes that the Premier League is back up and running with an action-packed day of football to look forward to as Liverpool and Arsenal get their title challenge underway.
Z-Wiz is the headline on the back of the Irish Daily Mail. That's after Manchester United's new superstar striker, Joshua Zirkzee, got his Old Trafford career off to a sensational start.
And the Irish Daily Mirror also leads with Man United's late win against Fulham. The headline there says, Reds go berserk in late. Fan favourite for the Irish is Liverpool, and we're seeing them in action today.
And nobody has a Scooby-Doo what's potentially going to happen this season.
Exactly. That's why I was kind of open.
Very open-ended.
That's where we're going. There's the grenade in. How long have you got? It's the world of unknowns, isn't it, really? Like, we were talking about Manchester United there. Like, there's an argument that they still haven't got over the departure of Alex Ferguson, and there's still been a lot of change on and off the pitch, and they're never been back to those levels straight away. We saw Arsenal under Arsene Wenger. It's taken them a couple of managers now. They are probably back in the top tier now, but that's taken them quite a toil. There's been such a departure, not just from the management of Klopp, and Klopp was a god to Liverpool supporters. He was more than just a football manager. He controlled that football club pretty much in his fist pump. And that's just taken away out of a shot. There's a lot of change behind the scenes as well. I won't bore you with the structure, but there's been a lot of change. And most importantly, most worryingly, from a supporter's perspective, there's been no signings. And this was a squad that, yes, showed flashes of potential last season in the fight that they, unexpected fight at that, to get to a title charge that nobody anticipated at all, really. But it felt like Klopp squeezed every last bit of drop out of that squad, and they still fell short. Now that squad has probably let a couple of maybe squad players go, but no investment. We saw high-profile approach to get Zumendi, to get him in that number 6 role. There will be a change of style of football now, Liverpool supporters. If you haven't seen anything, you're coming back for the first time, prepare for heart attacks, because there's going to be a lot of playing from the back. It's a different style of football. He will play through the lines. The goalkeeper, Alisson, will be expected to play those almost Pep-style football. So it will be a change of approach. It just feels like there's a lot of change and not been a lot of investment. So it's dynamic. He's young, he's fresh. I was taken back by Slaughter. I talk about Ten Hag in terms of what he said, but what really not quite scared you from a Liverpool perspective, but Slot's talking during the week, oh wow, everyone talks about football here, talking about Sky Sport News, talking about all the transfers. He seems to be a lot of unknowns, and he's in a pretty dangerous position right now, you would say. It's a big ask, but look, we'll see how it develops.
If we're talking about weight of expectation, I suppose Arsenal will have that this year to actually go and deliver something, and they're starting at 3 o'clock.
Hugely. It's a massive season, isn't it, for Arsenal? We talked about their redevelopment and their renaissance under Arteta. How do they react to going so close? Last season felt big for them, really, wasn't it? Really not going over the line, and they talked about a lot in their signings that they'd made last season. Fell short again. The similar sort of pattern was Liverpool under Klopp. That time they went really close, and the next season they won it. A lot of people thought that Arsenal might do the same last season, but instead Man City found a bit of gear at the end. Look, the huge elephant in the room really is just you can't really talk about Arsenal without talking about what potentially is going to happen to Man City. Those charges are around the corner. If you believe some of the early murmurings that there could be significant punishment for
How
those...
significant
Well, like there was one whistleblower quote that they would be deducted enough points that they'd be back down to the Championship. How true that is, we don't know. But there is huge charges. What you would say is Man City have shown, as with the UEFA cases, that they have huge lawyers as well, and they do find to get a way out of it. So, look, that's a legal battle that we're not probably used to here. 115 charges, what develops out of that? Is that going to be an overhang on it? If they are charges, Guardiola going to stay? He's probably indicated that he mightn't. So that's huge. But Arsenal, I suppose, they just need to concentrate on themselves. And it feels like they need to get off this season really fast and see how that develops. But big season.
Now we have to go to the lovely match you saw yourself last night. Because your heart was in it. Tell us about that.
Yeah, my friends are joking me that I'm banned from a game because between Shamrock Rovers on Thursday night and the cup tie last night between Shelbourne and Galway United, extra time on both, penalty shootout last night. Yeah, crazy game, a couple of late nights, as you can probably tell by my rusky voice.
Has to be done.
Has to be done, yeah. No, it was a great old school cup tie, really, in Tolka Park. John Caulfield and Damien Duff going head to head. Maybe not one for the pures, but what an enthralling cup tie. Went all the way to extra time. You have O'Brien back at Shelbourne, or back signed for Shelbourne, former Irish international player. He comes on, he gets his debut goal in extra time. You think that's it. But if you haven't got around to it again, just look at the goal Jimmy Keown got for Galway United to level at a volley on the edge of the area. Stunning goal. And that brought us all the way to the dreaded penalty shootout. Shelbourne progressed 5-3. Gary Buckley, the unfortunate one, the only one to miss the penalty, and that just leaves Galway out. So Shelbourne now, that two-pronged approach for League and Cup destiny under Damien Duff is still alive, and it's a mad cup this season because the second round of games took a lot of the Premier Division teams out of the situation. That's why if you're looking at the results, you'll see some, I suppose, one-sided games because you have a couple of non-league teams that are in it, and it's so difficult for them. They're out of season. It would be a difficult challenge anyways. And look, you see the Drogheda scoreline, you see the Treaty United scoreline. They're such one-sided games. But the cup has really opened up. Waterford out as well. Athlone scrambled in extra time. It's another big surprise. So that cup is wide open, and I'm sure the Duffer, as energetic as he in the sideline, is thinking about the double.
Yeah, plenty to keep watching in the Cup. Jonathan, it's nice to be in for joining us. A big weekend of football. Feels weird having the Premier League back now and the All-Ireland finals done and Electric Picnic early. Just my timing of the year is all gone.
It is.
We're all discombobulated this morning.
Not to forget as well, the All-Ireland Cup tonight as well. It's a big game as well. It's Galway United and Shamrock Rovers. Keep an eye on that one as well.
Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us now. We'll be back with more Ireland AM after this short break.
Welcome back to Ireland AM. Now, new figures have found that 1 in 7 women will develop breast cancer in the course of their lifetime, making regular checkups more vital than ever.
Joining us now ahead of this year's Pink Run for Breast Cancer Ireland are survivors Aisling Dorr and Karen Kruger. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Great to see you. And Aisling, I know you. We grew up on the same road, actually. Could you share a little bit at the moment when you first realised something might be wrong and what was going through your mind at that time?
Yeah, well, I found a lump in October. We were going to a wedding, and when I was getting ready, I found it in the shower. When I came out, I said it to my husband, but I didn't really kind of think too much of it. I'd gone to the GP, she sent me for a referral, and it was only when I went for the referral and the consultant said to me, I don't know what this is, I think we should get a biopsy. That was kind of the moment that I realised it could have been more, like, I just had my kids, I thought maybe it was a blocked milk duct.
Yes.
But that was the moment when I realised it could have been something more.
Yeah. And when did you receive the diagnosis then after that?
The 15th of January I was diagnosed.
Okay.
So there was a lot of like tests and back and forth in between. And so I didn't actually find a lump, it was a hardening of the skin. So it's not one of the symptoms that you kind of hear about all the time. So, yeah, so it was a lot of back and forth before.
I can imagine. You were right to get it checked anyway straight away, even though it wasn't one of the typical symptoms. How did the diagnosis change your perspective on life?
Oh, God, it's a lot to take in. You think about the things that you thought were important aren't really important. And I definitely, you take every day as it comes and just try and enjoy all the little things that, you're so happy you're here for. Like watching my children grow up is, the most important.
Yeah. And from that moment of diagnosis, obviously, is one thing. It sends you on a whole other journey with the treatment. What kind of treatment did you have to go through? And, how did you find it, particularly with young kids?
So I was diagnosed the 15th of January. I had a double mastectomy with reconstruction on the 1st of March. And to be honest, we really, really thought that was going to be the end of my journey. But when I had my mastectomy, they found 2 additional tumours that we didn't think were there. And they were HER2 positive and they were estrogen receptive. So that meant I needed chemotherapy. So the chemotherapy was definitely, that was really hard. I was very lucky with my children that my mum and my mother-in-law have been a really good help to me, and without that, we definitely wouldn't have got through it.
Yes, yeah.
And Karen, I suppose you might tell us a little bit about your story as well, but how important that bit is the family and friends who we all lean on in times of crisis, but particularly in a cancer diagnosis.
Yeah, I mean, we were only talking about it now. It takes a village to raise a child, and when you're sick like this, you need everybody around you. You really do. You need to rally in that support. I too had a delay in my diagnosis as well, insofar as there was weeks that went by between when I originally had my appointment and when I was fully diagnosed. It was 8 long weeks of painful, sleepless nights, really. And I was diagnosed with a different type of cancer to Aisling. So mine was estrogen positive, HER2 negative. So that's the protein that's in the cancer cells. And I had 4 months of chemotherapy. I had a mastectomy and 4 months of chemotherapy. And then 25 radio sessions, which is in every day having the radio treatment. So it was very tough on the body, and I got sick halfway through it, and I was in hospital for a week, neutropenic, with COVID as well, as catching an infection from the line that they put in. So that was your body is just at baseline. You just have to try and build yourself back up. But the hardest part, I think I was telling you guys earlier on, is after recovering from cancer. It's life after cancer. It's so different. You talked about the changing your perspective, and I have found navigating the menopause and life after cancer sometimes harder than chemotherapy and all of that, because life, everyone expects you to just carry on and go back to
when
normal.
You look so well as well, and people kind of see you and they're like, oh, great to see you back. That's kind of over now, when really it's absolutely not.
No, and you don't want to continuously talk about it, but it's part of your life now. Your life has changed, and the symptoms from menopause are very debilitating for some women, and it needs medical attention, and that's something that we just don't have a lot of now, and we forget that that's a part of breast cancer and ovarian cancer. So Yeah, thank goodness for Breast Cancer Ireland and all the work that they do, the research, you know, it's really, really important.
I know, Karen, after your treatment ended, you went into cancer coaching.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that and why you started going into that.
Yeah, so I've always been a coach. I've worked in the corporate environment from a coaching perspective. And since the diagnosis, after diagnosis, actually, I was left very disillusioned because they take that safety net away from you. From the chemotherapy and the radio, and then they tell you to go off and never think about it again. And I was very confused about things. I really didn't understand how to move forward, how to exercise, how to manage my negative thoughts. And I started following somebody over in Canada who does a cancer recovery program, and I thought, I love to help people, and I really want to empower them to take more control over their lives. And cancer does that, it takes that control away from you. And I pivoted into it, and I've started working with cancer survivors and some charities as well to help empower and help them identify the things that they have control over. It's a very similar type of coaching than you would normally have, but it's got the cancer context where people think very differently and they have a different perspective, they have different purpose and different values.
Yeah. And I suppose there's that element of it I know I found with my own cancer diagnosis and getting over it. When the physical stuff stopped, the mental stuff started. Because when you're getting chemo, you're getting treatment, you have a plan, you're like, I'm going to beat this thing, I'm going to fight it. And then, like you say, people say, okay, go off now, you're all right. And that's when you start to think.
Yeah, and when you're left alone with those thoughts, you know how they can ravage your mind. And cancer not only, messes up your body, but your mind then when you recover after it. And what am I doing now for the rest of my life? How do I manage things? It's very different. It is all-encompassing.
But you did mention the help you got from Breast Cancer Ireland, so maybe you could talk to us about the role that they played in your journey, Aisling, and tell us a little bit about the Very Pink Run and why events like that are so important.
Breast Cancer Ireland fund a lot of the work that goes on in the labs for drugs for breast cancer. For me personally, they've held events where I've met other women like Karen, and it's, you can have conversations with people and they do their best to understand you, but it's women that have been through the same thing that really get it.
Breast Cancer Ireland are fantastic. They build constantly their community of survivors, and all the charity work that they do, the support, the research. I mean, there are so many people that are alive today from the research that they're doing. They're doing the Shamrock trial recently as well with the UK. For HER2 work, and for a lot to do with brain metastasis. So a lot of the work that they do is it's difficult to understand how it metastases. It goes into the brain.
It's a horrible word to try and say, isn't it?
It goes into the brain, and Breast Cancer Ireland are amazing at that. They just dedicate an awful lot of work, and the scientists are there plugging away at it, and bringing that awareness to know that the support is there, because it's a very lonely place to be with a cancer diagnosis, despite the fact that 3,700 women are diagnosed with breast cancer, not to say how many people are diagnosed with cancer anyway in the country. It's a lonely place to be in, so you have to build that community, and Breast Cancer Ireland are brilliant at it.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and chatting to us about that. I know you're all very excited for the Very Pink Run, and anyone can get involved in it, so thanks so much for coming in and chatting to us, ladies.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you.
Best of luck with the rest of your recovery.
Thank you.
For more information on the 2024 Very Pink Run, check out their website at verypinkrun.ie.
And we should also mention, actually, it is 1 in 7 for female breast cancer, but there is a very small chance of men developing breast cancer as well, about a 1 in 700 chance. And there's information available from the Breast Cancer Ireland, but also the Irish Cancer Society on that, if that's something you're worried about. Now, if you have a little one starting in secondary school this month, stay tuned, because we have advice on how to make the transition as smooth as possible.
You're very welcome back. I hate to say this out loud, but let's face it, it's almost back to school time, and one group of children are facing a big new challenge, namely going from primary to secondary.
And parenting expert Aoife Lee joins us to pinpoint some of the pitfalls of this transition and how you, as parents, can help them through it. Good morning, Aoife.
Good morning. Yes, it rings my bells. It's bittersweet.
I know.
Because as a parent of 3, we've got one going back to primary, one starting secondary this week. and one going into TY. We're in the thick of it.
You've got it all bases covered. So talk to us, what are the main concerns for students when they do make that transition from primary to secondary?
I don't know. I still remember my first day of school, and whether you are going to a school with your pals or not, there's always a big apprehension about, you know, friendships and making sure that they're going to be, you know, they're going to settle in okay. The SRI did a growing up in Ireland study, and in it they said that 1 in 5 kids are actually quite nervous about making friendships. So that's kind of one element of it. So I think it's important that we validate to our kids it's okay to be nervous, it's okay to be anxious, apprehensive, excited. It's all the normal emotions. And I've noticed even with my own kids, depending on what might be happening in this particular transition, you might be seeing them a little bit quieter in themselves. They're not really on top form. So it is important to kind of check in on that and know that it is quite natural to feel that.
It breaks my heart when you see them walking the first morning of secondary school. They're like walking school bags.
Yeah,
they're just like turtles. It's just tiny little people, big, huge bag, and off they are into the big world. I mean, it's upsetting and overwhelming for parents and aunties, let's face it. But
absolutely.
for the kids themselves, it's a huge transition.
It is, yeah. And, you know, even things like going from being the eldest in primary to the youngest, you are in the company, you're in the vicinity of young adults.
Yeah.
Grown-up women and men, 17, 18-year-olds. You know, a whole new environment, lots of new faces, lots of new teachers. You know, in primary, you're used to the one teacher all day long. So you're going to have different personalities of those teachers, different parenting styles. And it's taken all that on board. Certainly the logistics of it is a big one.
We've got some more of the points there. So moving from mixed schools to single sex and
vice versa.
Yeah, and look, my son goes to an all-boys school, English, and my daughter is going to a mixed Irish secondary. We kind of had to tune in to maybe what they wanted to do, where they wanted to go. We like the idea, and they're both coping quite well on that. But going from, let's say, a mixed primary into a single-sex secondary can be, again, a huge change and something to really to adapt to.
How important is establishing a routine straight away? Because whatever about the whole nightmare of any child going back to school because they're up half the night gaming and God knows what else now, so getting them back into a sleep routine. But other routines, the hours are different on a secondary school. The after-school activities are different. The meal times, everything has changed.
Everything is different, and the volume of independence that is now required of our, you know, younger teenagers, it's quite significant. So routine creates predictability and consistency, and I always talk about it for the younger kids as a great thing. But the same goes for the older ones. So start having the conversation now about their route into school. What time actually do they have to be getting up in the morning? What can they even do? So working back, what could they do the night before to get ready? Some of our kids are organised, others are an absolute disaster. So they need us to help and guide them in that regard. And the more they feel on top of things, organised, and more the routine is in place, the more kind of those mornings will flow. And then coming into the evening times, what has been the agreement, or kind of what is going to work insofar as coming in, getting homework and study done, screen time, and then the reality of bedtime too. And I always say, if you can, move the phones out of the sleep space. It's not just, you know, keeping them awake, but it's that kind of constant scrolling that so many families are familiar with when they see their teenager on social media. We've got some kids and they're up till, you know, the early hours of a school night, which means there's a lot of tiredness and difficulty focusing.
Even I need that advice, Aoife. But one of the things that I think they experience is they get a little bit more independence. You know, they have to kind of take care of themselves a little more. They're not as spoon-fed maybe as they are in primary schools. How much should a parent be helping them? Like, should a parent be labelling everything, or should they let the child do it a little bit more themselves this time?
I am that parent that labels. No, I tell you what, this is actually...
Aoife?
Yes, I know. No, this is my job, in fairness. No, what I would say is, right, and I mentioned it there, the change of what our kids need to now be responsible for themselves. There's only so much we can do. we can provide and we can send them off on their merry way. But when you think about what they need to do with regards to finding classrooms and just the geographical space of the school, one thing I always recommend to families where your kids are starting, even for the first term, get your big durable folder, as you can see here, right? You can get these in any stationery shops. You can label the subject on it, and then putting all of that same subject matter into the folder. So like that, what I have here is these colour-coded stickers, as some people would think, oh my God,
like the blue. It's blue for English.
Well, that's only...
I had an argument with someone about that yesterday, because maths is red. No, maths isn't red. English is red. So yeah, blue. I like what you
well,
do
this
there.
is as we know, we can get all this stuff in all different colours, but it's just coincidental. I just thought, as you know, for to look nice.
Yeah.
But let's just say blue is for history, Leigh.
Okay.
Let's say blue is for history.
Don't discombobulate.
Get your stickers, stick it on the binder of, if you don't have an iPad school, let's say, and you've got all the gear, textbook, book, an A4 or whatever, put it on the binder, stick it all in the folder. So when it comes to organising their subjects for their morning classes, for their afternoon classes, all they have to do is pull out their folder. And when you look at the paraphernalia that comes with other subjects, this is just an example of our maths gear.
Stuff gives me the fear.
Yeah.
The absolute
I know,
fear.
I know.
I'm getting PTSD looking at that.
You could be triggered, yeah.
It's the noise of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's the maths of it.
Yes, I know, yeah. The likes of the math set, the log tables, books, the scientific calculator, all of that, that's all the gear that can get lost in transition.
Yes.
And it can be at the bottom of the bag and then they're faffing around. So having all of this gear in the maths folder. And look, some kids like, oh God, it's not really what I want, but it's just
very quickly, phones. Talk about phones. Do they need one for secondary school? Would you recommend it? And if they have one and the school has a policy, adhere to it?
It varies depending on, I think for most schools, they will let the families know what the policy is. For my son's school, it is they're allowed to take them out of the classroom to use as part of their schoolwork. But for my daughter's school, it's a zero tolerance out of the locker, outside of the locker, if they see them, they'll be taken off them.
Okay.
It doesn't just lie at the school, it's also about the boundaries that we talk about and we create at home as well. And just remember that sleep space, managing that sleep space too.
Great.
And monkey see, monkey do. So
Exactly. Yes. Aoife, thank you so much for coming in and chatting to us about that. And best of luck with your son starting secondary school.
Thank you. And all the others come back to school. May the force be with you.
Now we'll take a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because coming up we've got best-selling author Steve Cavanagh, some crispy cheese rolls in the kitchen, and the best ways to fight off a receding hairline. That one's for the fellas. We'll be back in a few.
Not just the fellas. Let's check on your morning paper, starting with the Irish Times, which goes with the headline, Boy lay in wait to attack Army chaplain. The paper reports Gardaí believe that a 16-year-old boy from Galway who stabbed an Army chaplain on Thursday night had been lying in wait to attack Defence Forces personnel due to grievances over Ireland's overseas military activities.
The front page of the Irish Independent goes with the same story, writing, teenager who stabbed army priest radicalised online by ISIS. The paper states that the boy being questioned over the stabbing of army chaplain Father Paul Murphy had been reposting propaganda from terrorist organisations online.
Again, on the chaplain story, the Irish Examiner writes for its headline, terror linked to stabbing probed. The paper reports that soldiers on duty at the barracks were forced to fire at least 5 shots in the air to deter the 16-year-old.
Onto the tabloids now, and the Irish Daily Mail goes with teenager planned attack on chaplain for days. They add that the attack at Renmore Barracks on Thursday night is believed to have been planned days in advance.
The Irish Mirror writes, terror teen stabs priest, adding that Father Murphy has since posted on social media the words, I'm doing OK, all will be well.
The Irish Sun also reports on the stabbing, leading on their front page with the headline, terror teen knifes priest.
As does the Irish Star, who's gone with the headline, Army priest stabbed terror.
And finally, the Herald writes, lone wolf boy had terror obsession. The paper reports that in hours of the attack, detectives raided the boy's family home and seized his laptop, stating he had been reposting disturbing material from organisations affiliated with terror groups.
Now, guys, a very controversial article caught my eye this morning in the Irish Examiner. There is a series called Diary of a Gen Z Student, penned by Jane Cohen, and yesterday's column was about nightclubs. Why people over 40 should let the dream go and find another way to spend their evenings.
Why are you all looking at me? Oh, yeah, I'm the only one here over 40.
I'm looking
That's why.
in both of your direction.
In a general left direction is where I was looking.
Yes. So her main argument is that a bouncer can deny admission to someone who's 20 until they're 21. So why can't they discriminate both ways, is what she's saying. If you can discriminate for being too young, why can't they discriminate? She's making a case for more discrimination, basically.
That's what we need, more discrimination.
more
But, sorry, is 40 not the new 30 anyway?
For us, yes. For a 20-year-old.
Well, for us, 30 is the new 20.
The 20-year-olds thing, do you remember being 20?
Yeah.
And you thought anyone at 40 was actually as old as Methuselah.
Yeah.
Where's your walking stick and your bovril and your Ovaltine at bedtime? Get your slippers and go to bed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought that I knew better than them, and I knew better than my parents, and they had no idea, and now I'm like, they were right.
Yeah. One of the things I like actually in the article that she suggested is to do something more age appropriate, like having a pint in their local, having a cup of tea at home, or playing a game of drafts. What should you do instead of the nightclub? Do you know, I'm going to go have a cup of tea in my living room.
I like this. What am I supposed to do if they take a fall? Throw their back out, especially when their dinner has probably been blended up and waiting for them since 4 p.m. Do you know what, Jane? I think you're dead right. People over 40, myself included, should not be left into a nightclub. Down with that sort of stuff. We're too old for it. What am I thinking of? If you see me in a nightclub, bouncers of the world, bar me.
If someone tried to not let me into a nightclub age 40...
31.
I know, but when I'm 40...
But you mightn't want to go when you're 40.
I will.
You mightn't.
Mark my words.
I'd like the option. I might much prefer a cup of tea sitting in on a Friday night, but I'd like to be able to go to Coppers if I want to.
Listen, there's different types of nightclubs when you're in your 40s.
Bingo.
Right? There's the ones that, OK, they're not exactly cool and hip. Like, I should not be in a nightclub with anyone with curly hair and a mullet. They're far too young, far too cool. Different generation altogether.
Okay. Well, cool is debatable now. Mullet and cool is debatable.
Well, what you're saying here is that they shouldn't discriminate against age. They just discriminate per hairstyle.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. They look,
mullet or
like,
a perm and not happening.
But that's all on vogue now. So that's what the youth of today are into.
Yeah. There you go. Let us know what you think anyway. Should over 40s be banned from nightclubs? What a sentence! I can't even believe I'm saying it. Something else that caught our eye online this week is the ugly horse meme. Have you seen this? So this is promotion for a movie that's coming out called We Live in Time. Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield, and it's a love story. You know, they're on this lovely carousel and they're sort of snuggling and hugging each other. But what has taken off is the image of one of the carousel horses that is in the actual film. And people have started to superimpose it, right? It's been known as the ugly carousel horse.
Look at that.
See it at the bottom left.
That's going to give me nightmares.
That will haunt your dreams forever. We've got a few of the graphics, right? Here it is in The Shining.
Oh, God.
What is it? Here's Johnny, here's Horsey, coming straight in. We got Titanic.
Aww.
Near, far.
Oh, my God. There we go. Finally, Star Wars.
Very good. Okay.
May the horse be with you.
Oh, Elaine, you are killing it today. You really are.
I've overdosed on vitamin C. This is what happens when I eat 6 kiwis, lads.
Now,
who needs anything else?
I have seen people saying they included the horse intentionally to cause a ruckus online. I've seen some cynics.
Oh, is this new viral marketing thing that you have to get trending?
I didn't, I don't know. I've seen people ponder that.
Right. Are you pondering it your good self?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. There's no publicity like a meme.
I know, but this is the right kind of publicity for that movie.
I mean, it's not bad.
No such thing as bad publicity?
Sometimes there is. It's a bit Godfatherish, isn't it? There's a big ugly horse head in
Put it this way, would you have heard of this movie otherwise? Probably not. And now you might think, oh yeah, Andrew Garfield, I can front you, I like her, I might go see it. And the horse.
Can I ask you one thing about Andrew Garfield, right? Do you know the way Andy Murray has retired?
Yes.
Andrew Garfield and Andy Murray are actually, I think, long lost twins, and I think it's a biopic in the making. We should get a photograph of that.
There you go.
We should.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield.
I would watch that movie.
Yeah, I think
Ugly
so.
Horse or no
Ugly Horse, Andrew Garfield, with a bit of Andy Murray in it. Right, the production team can get on photoshopping that. But first, we're going to take a break, and afterwards, I'm getting feta up with all this chit chat going on. It's time for lunch, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Well, all morning we have been smelling something really good in the kitchen. I can already tell it's going to breed delicious.
Enough. Enough of these grating puns.
Oh.
Chef Charlo is running the kitchen this morning. What's for lunch, Charlo?
And not a suspicion of brie with me. We'll be bounced
Don't
back.
ruin the illusion.
We'll bounce back. Yeah, don't ruin the illusion. I'm just going to pop one in here now, so I'm going to show you how to make this, but that's what it looks like, the finished product.
Lovely.
Packed with beautiful cheese, wrapped in that spring roll pastry, OK? Pop it into a hot oil here. I have a few here that I've already fried off, as you can see.
Great.
Lovely.
Beautiful. Let's start at the very beginning, the foundation.
A very
Here's
good
what I
place
made
to start.
earlier, as they say. And let's go from the start.
These are your spring roll pastry. You can buy them in any Chinese ethnic shop in the freezer department. Two sizes. I'm using the small size. Is that okay?
So they come frozen,
Come
do they?
frozen, yeah. Defrost
them
them.
out? Yeah.
Defrost them. A couple of hours defrost them, and then you peel the sheets back individually. Make sure you cover them when you're working because they do dry out with the temperature, especially in here. TV kitchen's very hot and humid, but your kitchen as well, depending on your environment. So basically, really, really simple. Okay, we're going to go with some red cheddar, some grated red cheddar, grated mozzarella, a little bit of feta cheese. I've got a little bit of parmesan. Okay, so I'm going to grate that. Going to add a few little herbs, a little crack of cracked black pepper, and we're done.
Lovely.
Okay, and you're going to give me a hand making some of the dips. Is that okay?
Happy days, absolutely.
Yeah. So pastry on the board, dry board. I've got a little one egg beaten, just one egg beaten with a bit of pastry bush. And then I have, again, it's totally up to yourself. I mean, we're going to go in with some mozzarella, some crumbled feta, some red cheddar. I mean, you look at your fridge, see what you got.
Okay,
you know?
so it's whatever's
There's
in there.
no rule of thumb here. This is I just like the stickiness of the parmesan, so it's sort of like the glue.
Yes.
A little bit of from the herb garden, and a little bit of parsley. Freshly cracked black pepper. So I love freshly cracked black pepper on everything.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then a little bit of thyme. So thyme from the herb garden as well. Again, a little bit of rosemary if you have it, or if you want a little bit of basil in there. Okay.
I like that you're adding greens as well. It looks good.
Yeah. So I'm after leaving the border free. I'm after wiping it once with the egg white or the beaten egg. Now we're going to roll. So we're going to fold. And we're going to fold. Is that okay?
This is the bit now where I always fall down.
This is the first step.
I can never wrap something
really easy
well.
now. Okay, so now delicately you're going to just roll. So spring roll, like a spring roll. So just nice and easy. You're going to try and keep it all sort of the one cylinder shape, okay?
Okay.
Nice and tight as well. So bring your ingredients in. And then you're going to leave the last bit. Reminds you when I used to wallpaper. Not. Disaster. Now, and then you just roll it. And it's very important to get the egg at the very end.
Okay, so
you get your stick, you get your glue, so it doesn't break up.
So you leave a bit to seal it.
Exactly,
okay.
yeah. And there's no harm as well if you want just one for the road, you give it another little lick there, just at the seal.
Pop it
into your fryer. Your fryer, if you have a shallow pot.
That's how we roll. Yeah.
It's how we roll, okay? It's how we roll, yeah, exactly. And then what we do is we're going to serve it with a little bit of tomato chutney.
Okay.
And then a beautiful little sauce. It's a natural yogurt and it's mint sauce for your lamb.
Yeah.
Mint sauce in the fridge. What a great combination. So, Shifa, if you want to, just 2 spoons in there, mix it around. Then you're going to pour it into my little ramekin.
Okay.
Sean, you're going to do a little bit of decorating for me on the plate.
Oh, Lord,
okay, so I've got some balsamic. So I just want you to do. See that? I just want you to drizzle.
Yeah, I'm going to be able to do that well, all right.
On the bigger plate. Is that okay?
Right.
Do a nice little design for me. We're nearly ready to serve. I just want to show the folks at home how this is your cheese roll. I'm just going to open one of these now and I'm going to show you the centre. Is that okay? I'm going to open one of these and show you the centre. Beautiful. Oh, beautiful, Sean.
I'm telling you now, my
what a team, folks. What a team.
Art is coming back.
Okay, so
we're off in spades.
We're going to cut one of these rolls and just show you. And you can hear the crispiness. And I'll just show you here now, you have the cheese all melted, combined, you see? You have the cheese all melted and combined. Fantastic mouthful. All right?
Look at that.
How would you serve these, okay? You know, if you're doing like a dinner party, nice starter, okay?
Yeah.
But also, you know, like you can do a cheese fondue for like cheese and wine night, okay? A cheese board. This would be fantastic, a little addition to your cheese board instead of the fondue. So what we'll do is we'll just serve. I love you to taste these, okay? So we're going to crisscross.
Oh, now we're getting fancy.
Chefy.
Jenga.
There we go.
Chefy.
Look
oh my goodness.
Now, guys.
What a nice
You just pick up. Pick up, it's finger food, pick up, dip into your sauces and let me know how you get on. Now, just on a big shout out, by the way, to a guy, Robbie Gallagher and his son, baby Ushin. They're big fans of the show, so I'm giving them a shout out today to be watching at home.
Oh,
so,
yeah?
no bother. And I'm just back from Turkey. So I'm just back from Turkey, and these are the spring rolls, or these are the cheese rolls that were on every menu over there.
So these are a real Turkish thing, are they?
They're a Turkish thing, but there's Charlo's twist on it.
Right, okay.
So
what's your twist?
My twist is, well, over in Turkey they would have used phyllo pastry.
Right.
And they wouldn't have mixed the cheeses. There was more feta cheese.
Okay.
A little bit boring. Okay. Because I like to get the party started.
Yeah.
It's electric picnic.
Really,
okay? So I just twisted
Well, I was
it up.
only thinking, this is the ultimate hangover snack. This is
it's
like
cheap and cheerful.
back day 3, you're back, you're getting this into you.
Most households will have parmesan. They'll have feta. They'll have what I have in my fridge, and not just a cheese filling. You can do turkey cranberry filling if you have any chicken left over. Experiment. If you have the pastry, you decide the filling.
So it's like perfect leftovers. Like you need something to do, something a bit fancier. And tell me, if you don't have a fryer, could you do them in the oven?
You could do them in the oven, a little spray oil. So the spray oils are fantastic. You're going to spray your bottom of your tray, and then you're going to spray the pastry, and then you just turn them. So I'll say 10-15 minutes in the oven, but turn them after 6 minutes. Have your oven, keep an eye on it, have your oven about 175, so you're getting that golden crisp. So you can perfectly do them in the oven. That's a great idea as well. And you're cutting down on the calories as well.
Yeah.
But our second dish today, there's very little calories in it.
Happy days.
Well, there we
We're
go.
looking forward to that one as
Yeah.
well. Now, they're absolutely delicious, and I love that sauce with the mint. It's almost like tzatziki. It's delicious.
Yeah,
gorgeous.
And it's real refreshing and uplifting. Great start to the weekend, folks. Am I going to be asked back?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You'll be asked back in a few minutes.
Yeah, we'll see shortly, Charlo.
See
Thanks so much for that. It's
folks.
delicious. Now, full rest details are on our website. You can find more from Charlo on charlothechef.ie.
Now, he went from seeing crimes in a courtroom to putting them on the page. Lawyer turned author Steve Cavanagh joins us next.
You're very welcome back to R&IM. Now, our next guest is the lawyer turned writer behind the best-selling Eddie Flynn series, all about a con man turned lawyer. I wonder where he got the idea.
Well, author Steve Cavanagh joins us now following the release of his latest book, Witness 8. So, Steve, who's the killer?
No spoilers on this show.
Good man.
But Witness 8 is hopefully be a fun read for Eddie Flynn fans.
And come here, for those not familiar with Eddie, tell us all about him and, of course, the story behind what inspired the character in the first place.
Well, he used to be a con man, and now he's a trial lawyer in New York City. And the books explore the fact there's not a great deal of difference between the two professions.
Okay.
They all have the same skill set. So, a good lawyer and a good con artist will use distraction and misdirection and persuasion, of course. Yeah. So he cons juries now instead of marks.
And the inspiration behind the character, of course, from personal experience.
A little bit of personal experience, yeah. I remember I was cross-examining someone one day, and I sort of conned them into revealing they were lying on the witness stand. So yeah, sometimes lawyers use skills which aren't exactly learn in law school.
So you kind of went from writing a book, from being a lawyer yourself to writing about a con man turned lawyer as your series. Interesting.
Yes. Not based on personal experience.
At all, no,
not at all. Not at all.
But you did go from lawyer to author. Was writing something you always wanted to do? What was the transition like between the two careers?
Well, I did always want to write, and in my early teens, I started writing, and when I was about 20, I wrote screenplays, but gave it up because it was too hard to get a movie made. So I didn't write anything then until I was about 35, and my mum passed away quite suddenly, and then I started writing a book for her, and that's how I began writing.
Do you feel that she kind of gave you the metaphorical kick in the you-know-what to get going, right? You only live once, this is the time to do it.
I think so, yeah, and I wanted something good to come of it. So Cavanagh is my mum's maiden name, so all the books are a tribute to her.
Now, when the settings for these books as well, why go stateside and why not Belfast or Dublin?
Well, I love American crime fiction, and I think with the best will in the world, New York is maybe more exciting than Drumcondra, But that's...
How very dare you? Parakeets all over that side of the city, I'll let you know.
So I think that city, the pace of that city suits the pace of the books.
Yeah.
And they don't have to wear the wigs over there either.
They don't have to wear the funny wigs and gowns and stuff over there. It's a bit more exciting.
It's a bit slicker then, isn't it?
Yeah, a little slicker.
And everyone knows what New York looks like.
Yes.
So they have it in their mind already.
Exactly. I don't need to spend pages, telling everyone this is what New York is like and this is who lives there and the buildings, and it's imprinted in everyone's memory already.
Yes, so you can focus on the important stuff like the mystery.
Exactly.
Now, before you embraced Eddie, you did try your hand at screenwriting.
Yes.
Just a bit of a sad story there. Tell us.
Yes, I did once get one of my scripts read by Francis Ford Coppola, or his reader, but they turned it down because it wasn't Irish enough. And it was set in Ireland. I still don't know exactly what that means.
What sort of donkey would say it's not Irish enough, written by an Irish writer set in Ireland?
Well, apparently Francis Ford Coppola, he knows best, so I don't know. I wouldn't argue with the man, but yeah, so I haven't said anything in Ireland since.
And did that give you a setback in your own career then, was it?
Well, it did, yeah, and I stopped writing screenplays then and focused on the law. So then it wasn't until much later in my life I'm going to try my hand at this again. See how it goes.
Well, I think there's Ireland and there's Hollywood, Hollywood,
Irish,
exactly, and it's okay. Look, so they wouldn't get it.
Not
anyway.
enough leprechauns or men with pegs under their arms.
But how difficult was it then to get your first Eddie Flynn book published? Because that's not an easy thing to crack either. The publishing world.
No, publishing is tough. So it took me about a year and about 60 rejections to get an agent. But after I got an agent, everything flowed well after that, and the books were sold at auction. I've been very lucky to build up a readership.
60 rejections, that must have been tough, like that, and you persevered though.
Persevered, yes. Pig-headed ignorance and stubbornness got me through.
Yeah, but I suppose this kind of rejection and this kind of it's a par for the course when it comes to writing, and you do have to have a pretty thick skin, which possibly was developed over your career as a lawyer as well.
Probably, yes. I think in rejection sometimes it's a good thing because it's not the right fit between that book and that agent, and it's just finding someone who understands what you're trying to do and they appreciate it and can see a market for it.
And in some of your books, you get inside the minds of killers.
Yes.
What's your approach to that? How do you research that?
Well, I think killers are just like everyone else in many ways. They all have their own ideas about who they are as people and what they want to do. So I write them almost as if they're the heroes of their own story.
Okay.
And I don't judge them, and I let the readers judge them.
Yeah, but do you research any killers from the past? Do you look at the psychology of it, behaviour analysis? I know the FBI had a behaviour unit about that because I'm fascinated with that whole kind of crime genre and the reason behind it and why people do what they do, and taking someone else's life is really the ultimate in that. So how do you actually approach the psychology of it?
Well, I've read, up on the psychology of serial killers, and there's been lots of studies done on it. And I explore different aspects of it. There's lots of things we don't know about why people do terrible things. There are psychopaths and sociopaths, and I wrote a book once about a female serial killer because that whole side of psychology isn't focused on females at all. It's all focused on men. So there are interesting aspects to explore in every book.
Okay. And despite writing crime, you've said that you'd never write graphic violence. Why is that? Why have you taken a stance on that?
I sort of think I hint at violence, but I let the violence occur in the mind of the reader. So I don't put it on the page. To me, showing graphic violence isn't really exciting. I approach it more in the way Alfred Hitchcock approached violence on screen. So you get the impression of seeing it, but you're not actually seeing it. Your own imagination, creates those scenes.
I appreciate that because sometimes it can be quite gratuitous, the violence, and a lot of it is against women, and it's used for entertainment purposes. So
I actually interviewed Jeffrey Jeever a couple of times, and he has the same approach. Of course, he's well-known. Books have been made into films like The Bone Collector, etc., and so forth. But he said if you stop just before the moment, it's actually way more terrifying than showing something so graphic, because what you can imagine in your head is way more hugely traumatizing than what you could ever portray on screen, really.
Exactly. And Jeff Deaver's a master at that. And I learned from Jeff, and he's a fantastic writer. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to being an active solicitor, you did that for years, but why did you decide just to cut it all off then? I mean, or have you kind of drawn a line in that forever, do you think?
I think I have, yeah. It was about 5 years ago now. I'd written a book called 13 about a serial killer on a jury, which had done really well. And my wife said to me, I think you should maybe give the law a break and try writing full time and see if you can make a career of that. And thankfully, touch wood.
You don't miss it.
I don't miss it. It has worked out. It's been great. Much better balance of life now.
And isn't it great to have another half who's supportive in that part of your life as well?
Oh, she's amazing, and Tracy comes up with lots of the ideas for twists and the ideas for books, and helps me out and catches all my mistakes in the book. So she's great.
It's collaborative.
My husband writes about serial killers for a living. Yay! I sleep well at night.
He does.
So tell us a little bit about your new book then.
Well, Witness 8 follows the story of Ruby Johnson. The idea is, what if the witness to a murder was more twisted and dangerous than the killer? So Ruby Johnson is a young girl who works in West 74th Street in Manhattan for a very wealthy family. She's a maid and nanny to these families. But she sees everything that they do. They don't see her because she's the help. They don't pay much attention to her. But Ruby misses nothing. And she's going home one night and she sees a murder. And she knows who the killer is and she knows the victim. And she makes an anonymous call to police. But she doesn't tell them the real identity of the killer. She gives the name of an innocent man. And you don't know why. But that's Ruby's game beginning, and Eddie Flynn is drafted in to help defend this man in court.
Where did you get the ideas from? That is so warped. Is this like revenge as you plotted in your head already? This is what I would do to that person if I could.
I don't think so. No, I get all my demons out on the page. Oh no, thank you. Oh no, all my anxieties and demons are all in the books. So I'm relatively, sane.
Okay.
Some would say.
It's cathartic, so you're getting it all out. And then very quickly, will we see Eddie Flynn again? What's next for him?
There will be a new Eddie Flynn next year. Bit too early to say exactly what it is, but he'll be back next year.
Oh, great.
Have you finished writing it?
Not yet. That's what I can't say.
Have you started writing it?
I've started writing it, yes. About halfway through. But we'll hopefully be back next year.
It's been great chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
A reminder that you can pick up a new copy of Steve's book, Witness 8, in any good bookshop today.
And we'll be right back with more Ireland AM after this short break.
Welcome back. Well, a recent study has found that nearly half of young Irish men under the age of 30 believe themselves to experiencing some kind of hair loss.
Joining us now to discuss the natural process of hair loss and available options for treatment is Aileen Maher from Hair, Scalp and Wig Therapy. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you.
So bring us to a lot. It's a huge fear for a lot of fellas. Whatever about anything else, we have the makeup to worry about, the clothes to worry about, but for a lot of guys, it's their hair, their crown and glory.
It is. And there's so many reasons for hair loss, and I think it's so important for the guys to go to the local hairdresser and barber and find out why it's, it can be diet, it can be hormones, it can be medication, it can be stress, and it can be genetic, so the DNA.
What's the split? How much is genetic and how much is factors that we could actually control?
Well, it's hard to say that the exact figures as such, but like when you think about it, the Spanish men, right? Spanish and Italian have the highest percentage of hair loss. Right? We'd say very handsome men. The Chinese and the Japanese have very little hair loss. Right? So where's the Irish man? Where are we? It really totally depends. You know what I mean? So, and again, where are they getting the hair loss? Is the hair loss, sort of to the front? Are they getting the back? Sort of the crown area. There's so much you could do. But the whole thing is to slow down the process.
So what's the best way to do that?
Right. The most important thing is to exfoliate, to detox your scalp, right? Loads and loads of different products out there, loads of different companies. And what I'd say to any young guy, only recently in my studio I had a young guy, my dad is bald, am I going to lose my hair? Am I going to... And I said, right, you could slow down the process, but how you do it, right? Don't be going online and sort of listening to all of this. Really go into your hairdresser and talk. Detoxify your scalp. An exfoliating scrub for your scalp. Okay, so see the likes of this is like Salt Scrubs. That's a company, Davinus. It's an Italian brand. It's something else, and it's all natural ingredients. Now, what I'd say to you, you can go organic and all natural all you want, but if you're going out drinking 20 pints,
Yeah, that's not going to help.
it has to be the whole lifestyle choice, you know, and to mind your scalp. Now, there's brilliant companies. You have your Remy, you have your Semi-Delino. Everything. This is a fabulous soap bar shampoo. The guy's going to love the Secret Hair Shop. And again, my son, right? He'd been using sort of, you know, the shampoos with the body lotions.
Yes, the 2-in-1s.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
that I definitely didn't use for my entire adult life until I got a fiancé.
Oh, right.
100% didn't have.
I looked at my son.
One bottle does all.
Well,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And it does.
What do you mean I need to buy 2 products?
I looked at him, and next thing his Meg hair was dry. You know what I mean? That soap bar shampoo, the lads are going to love it because you can actually...
You just like lather it on, kind of like
lather it
a
on, but
deodorant stick.
it's to clean off the DHD off the scalp, right? So when you think of a little hair follicle and the scalp, right? The blood flow, think of it like a little bulb. The blood flow is going into our hair, right? And the hair has to strengthen up, you know, and come through. So we have different stages of hair growth. If somebody's very stressed,
So
if
we have
somebody's...
that one here we can see there, like the blood vessels there, and that's what feeds
Exactly.
the scalp.
The
there,
scalp.
yeah.
But if somebody's very stressed or if somebody's on a lot of medication, right, what it can do, it can cause DHD. A dihydrotestosterone can land on your scalp. So it's like an invisible microdust. It's an infusion of enzymes caused by stress.
Okay.
So that's why we need to detoxify the scalp. We need to clean off the scalp, right? Then what we could do is boosters. Now, what I have to say, there's a lot of guys, and internet at the moment, everyone is like microneedling everything, right?
What's that meant to do?
Now, that is to clean off that DHD.
Okay.
But we have to be very, very careful.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not so nice.
See, so what does that do? Sorry, no, it didn't
What
mean
it's
to-
going to
give me a
do,
ball patch
it's going
there.
to clean off the DHD.
Yeah.
So when we exfoliate, we can put this, you know...
So
and
it's all about
going to-
cleaning the scalp properly,
De-
make sure all the products off so it can breathe and the oxygen can get to it and the hair grows as best as it can.
Exactly.
Right.
But what also is very, very important, if you're going to use this, to use a company, you know, and to clean these, to clean the products, you know what I mean? Because if you're going to use this, I had a young guy into me, he had his scalp torn apart with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's how we use it. Get the proper advice. Now, we also... I know I'm teaching the whole time. So if I'm sort of teaching, I'm sure you're talking and everything the whole time. I would take a Brocca Boost halfway through the day. You know what I mean? Just to give me. You might take a Red Bull. You might take a vodka,
Coffee,
whatever.
it is.
We all need...
I draw the line at vodka in the middle of the show. I have to say that much. But yes, I would have
Kiwi
separate
juice you could
coffees.
have,
Kiwi
Yeah,
juice.
we all need a booster, right? Also, what we do is the catagen stage of hair growth can get sluggish. The hair, you know, while you've cleaned it off, down here it could be sluggish. So the likes of the different boosters are going to be fabulous, right? Here we have, you know, and what we'd say to somebody, we'd normally put somebody on a 3 to 6 month program to slow down the process. So you're going to exfoliate your scalp, you're going to use the correct shampoo, and you're going to give it a little booster.
Yeah.
The booster is the Brocca Boost. It is going to create that, you know, the extra blood flow, that extra boost to the hair, and then to have the healthy hair. Now, I'd also say to guys, like, it's very, very important that you're going to clean it from the outside. But what has been new in Ireland, and it's been fabulous, which is to grow it. A nutri-grow it. It's something else.
Does that stuff work?
It does. It's bison, nettle, zinc. Like, there's old wives' tales about hair loss. I had a lady
Zinc is very good for hair loss. Yeah.
I had a lady coming into me and she said her granny was boiling nettles and putting it on the child's hair for hair loss.
Right.
So this is a totally natural ingredient, and what you're doing then is you're taking it from the inside, and then you're also working the products working from the outside.
What about food then? Can you get a lot of that through your diet? Is there certain things you could be eating to?
You could. You could have the healthy diet as well, and it is important. Do you know what I mean? So like, we all know how to be healthy and all the nutrition and all the rest. But like that, if you're going to go down the route, now, we all like a few drinks and have the grag, but if you're out sort of, it's to try and have
Balance
that
everything.
lifestyle and balance.
Now, if you have, let's say, male pattern baldness, and I don't look at your dad because I know it goes through the female line anyway, with DNA, the mitochondrial DNA and all that sort of stuff. So if you're worried about your dad, I'd go looking at your mum's side more than your dad when it comes to the baldness. But if you've lost the hair and it's not coming back, I mean, and it's a little bit sparse and you need a little bit of help.
Yes.
Now,
what can we do?
What can we do?
Right. So we do education on fitting pieces. Right, so there's huge the market there now at the moment for young guys getting all these.
That poor lad over there looks
guy. This poor guy's even got bald patches here. So what we're able to do is, right, we're able to make a mold and put on a piece, and it tapes on with a grade A medical tape. So this can be taped on, a piece can be made and taped on, grade A medical tape. There's salons, Image Skillnet, which is a funding in Ireland that fund hairdressers and barbers to do this training. It's unbelievable. And it's something else. It stays on for up to sort of 6 weeks, and then we teach them how to take it off.
I have it there in my head because I don't have the thickest hair in the world, so I've got extensions with grade A medical tape. So there you go.
There you go, right?
It's not only
You'd never know.
See,
exactly. And then the other option is transplants.
Right.
Now, what I'd say to you is be very, very careful. It's like going for the Botox. It's like going for... We need to go to the... Do your research.
Yeah.
Right? Now, what's also very important is to prepare your scalp before you go. Because these guys, I'm going off to Turkey and I'm going...
Yeah.
There's fabulous places in Ireland. There's fabulous clinics in Ireland as well.
The price,
You know
though,
what I
is
mean?
the price not very, very expensive here? Is that in a while that lads are going to Turkey?
Well, exactly. You're talking... But in Ireland, in fairness, if
There's a
something
couple
goes
of new
wrong...
clinics that are good as well, and they've got follow-up care as well.
Yeah, well, the follow-up care is the big thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It is, and the follow-up care. But it's do your proper research. There's a great guy, Macaulay Scanlon in Dublin, a big salon, a good friend of mine. He's on Instagram, and he tells his whole story. Because what they're actually doing, they're harvesting hair from the back of your head to put it on. It can be quite painful. It can be quite itchy. He's very honest. If anyone is thinking of doing it, just follow his story.
Yeah,
because
he'll tell you what to
he's
do.
honest, like, you know what I mean?
Now, we've run out of time for these lads here, but
Right.
you basically just... I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
Our
I
hair
could
is
go very
made up
wrong.
of protein and keratin.
You blow that into your hair, basically.
Exactly.
to
And
make
what it
thicker.
would do is, what it does is, our hair is naturally made up of protein and keratin.
Do you want to do it to mine?
So what it's doing is giving...
Should I take it back? Is there a zone?
And it's very fine little fibres, and it's just giving you that little bit, you know, covering up that area. But the way it's pumped out like this...
You're saying I need it?
If somebody had a bald patch, say, starting a bald patch to the crown, if they don't want to go down the route, this can be fabulous.
Okay.
And then also there's beard. If somebody has a bald patch.
Okay, I don't have a beard, and we're not demonstrating.
No, we'll
I might
get
have a
it.
few.
You can show me that in the ads about my little bald beard. Listen, thank you so much,
for
and
joining us
big
today.
message: prevention and don't use the 2-in-1 shampoo.
Yeah,
like I did.
there you go.
For more from Aileen, check out her website hairscalpandwigs.com.
Now we'll take a quick break, but still to come, we've got live parakeets, some posh pasta, and rumour has it Batman himself will be swooping into studio. See you for that in just a few minutes.
You've probably never been outside these walls, am I right?
I've been living in an orphanage with humans.
Ozzy speaks sign language, and she's a social media influencer.
What happened to our home? I will stop them. Ozzy! She lost her home and her family to terrible fires.
Sure. How about you just get the monkey to talk?
I am not monkey. I am orangutan. This was my home. Green Czar is destroying our island. We have to stop it. I can tell the whole world what's happening. Give it up, Smiley. Hold on.
Now let's have a final check on your morning paper, starting with the Irish Times, which goes with the headline, "Boy lay in wait to attack Army chaplain." The paper reports Gardaí believe that a 16-year-old boy from Galway who stabbed an Army chaplain on Thursday night had been lying in wait to attack Defence Forces personnel due to grievances over Ireland's overseas military activities.
The front page of the Irish Independent goes with the same story, writing teenager who stabbed army priest radicalised online by ISIS. The paper states that the boy being questioned over the stabbing of army chaplain Father Paul Murphy had been reposting propaganda from terrorist organisations online.
Again, on the chaplain story, the Irish Examiner writes for its headline, "Terror linked to stabbing probed." The paper reports that soldiers on duty at the barracks were forced to fire at least 5 shots in the air to deter the 16-year-old.
Onto the tabloids now, and the Irish Daily Mail goes with teenager planned attack on chaplain for days. They add that the attack at Renmore Barracks on Thursday night is believed to have been planned days in advance.
The Irish Mirror writes, terror teen stabs priest, adding that Father Murphy has since posted on social media the words, "I'm doing okay, all will be well."
While the Irish Sun also reports on the stabbing, leading on their front page with the headline, "Terror Teen Knifes Priest."
As does the Irish Star, which has gone with the headline, "Army Priest Stab Terror."
And finally, the Herald writes, "Lone wolf boy had terror obsession." The paper reports that within hours of the attack, detectives raided the boy's family home and seized his laptop, stating that he'd been reposting disturbing material from organisations affiliated with terror groups.
Now, the texts are flying in, guys. Earlier on, we were talking about a Gen Zers column who said that over 40-year-olds should not be allowed into clubs. Janet's 20...
lads, come on, I'm feeling very discriminated against today.
Let's just see what the texts say, right? OK, so the first one says, "I think they should be allowed to club, but only if they're kept locked away like a playpen. If they dance next to me, I'd die of second-hand embarrassment." And that's from Janet's 25-year-old daughter. It's not contagious.
Little playpen. You can only go in if you go into the little over 40 section in the corner. We'll put a little gate to make sure you don't leave.
There.
Yeah. There'll be cups of tea in the corner.
Sherry, some sherry.
Honestly.
Comfortable slippers for when we get tired.
It's awful.
Couches. Oh.
Another text in from Michelle. "I don't think there should be a cap, but I also don't want there to be a 40-year-old guy trying to buy college girls a drink."
I think that's
kind of
fair.
That's
that
fair.
is sleazy and gross.
I know, but that's something to do with age. That's something to do with that. That's a personal issue that they have if they're doing that, you know?
Tony thinks that the main issue is that archaic pub laws force most pubs to close at midnight while the clubs open until 2 and 3 a.m. Where should older people go if they're not allowed to go clubbing?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Noel, though, kind of agrees with this article. He says, "I do think we need a more diverse night scene. 18-year-olds shouldn't be clubbing with 25-year-olds. 25s shouldn't be dancing with late 30s and so on. They're too different to be in the same place."
What?
We're all too different. 5 years in the difference and you're too different.
Although if you look at the dance scene and the clubbing scene, like back in the day when I was young, but there was a lot more clubs, there was a lot more dance clubs, everything. Everyone was raving. And it's all seems very tame now. So the whole scene seems to have changed completely. It's not like the old school Chemical Brothers clubbing that I would have known.
Yeah, I know. There is more of like a pub culture now than like the pre-drink and head to the club that used to be there, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm 31, so I wouldn't know what the Gen Zers are doing. Someone said everyone should club. Who are you to tell me I can't dance just because I'm older than you? Jan, you tell them. You tell them, Jan. I absolutely agree.
We've also had a couple of texts in. We were talking about the must-haves for electric picnic as you're heading down. Quick inflation camping mattress, absolutely essential, especially as you get older. You need something that'll pump up quickly. Can't be dealing with sleeping on the ground.
Yeah.
And
this one disturbs me greatly.
This one from Quiva. Quiva, we need to get you looked at. We might pass your number on to somebody. A second tent, just in case the bathroom is too far away.
Quiva, have you something to tell us? Who broke you? What happened? Who did it?
Necessity is the mother of invention, guys, okay?
It is, yeah.
A whole second tent.
Whole second tent for just your toilet paper. Anyway, they have been sneaking up on us right behind the camera very creepily in the background. And after the break, well, is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, he is dressed like Batman. We've got some of Ireland's top cosplayers in after this.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
My heart.
You're very welcome back to Ireland AM. Now, with Dublin Comic Con just around the corner, you can expect to see many caped crusaders and warrior princesses taken to the streets in their finest cosplay costumes.
And here now to discuss the art of cosplay are a host of colourful characters led by Jerry O'Brien and Apollo Pierce, the MCs of this year's Comic Con cosplay contest. Say that 5 times fast first, guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
Very much for joining us on the show tonight. Hang on. No. Emperor.
Oh, the Emperor reveal. Oh!
I know it's scary without the mask.
Yeah. Palpatine reveals.
There's a Ewan McGregor vibe about this one, so we're staying with the theme there. But tell us all about the Comic Con cosplay contest.
It's something that brings a lot of people together, and it doesn't matter where you're from or who you are. it just brings people together to do what they love doing. And this year we're doing it slightly differently. So it's the mywaste.ie Sustainable Cosplay Contest, and I hope I got that right. Sustainable.
Yes.
So it's all about being sustainable and reducing our carbon footprint. So it's all about making costumes out of every ordinary things in your house.
Yeah.
Last year's winner was a full Predator costume. It was only a young lad, and he made it all out of cardboard, which was fantastic.
Wow.
So that's what we're kind of encouraging people to do, is to make your costumes out of stuff that you have just lying around the house.
So what did you make yours out of?
No, I didn't. No, I just bought mine.
So you're not practicing
No.
one. But in fairness, trying to make a mask like that yourself would be well nigh impossible.
You'd have to be an artist to do it, and a good friend of mine made that for me, and it's lasted now 7 years, so it's still going strong. So,
so that's sustainable in itself.
I suppose in a way.
Paperware.
Absolutely,
We're all
yes,
about the
100%.
paperware.
Yeah.
But the community is absolutely brilliant, isn't it?
Community is huge, and it does bring a lot of people together, and it's people that wouldn't necessarily have anywhere to go. It's like Comic-Con brings people together, and then these groups, you've got Real Icons, you've got all these other groups as well that bring people together, and they're not just friends, it's not a club, it's a family. That's what it is, and people love it. Absolutely love it.
Now, Apollo, you're involved in this, of course, as well, and tell us about your gorgeous costume now.
Oh, all right. So my cosplay, this is one of the first cosplays that I ever actually got. This is Miles Morales Spider-Man from the Into the Spider-Verse movie, the 2018 movie, which is actually the reason that I started cosplaying properly. My journey with cosplay became something that really encouraged myself to be more confident in my own body and my own skin. And that's just one of the few benefits that cosplay has for a lot of people.
Yeah, and of course, there's a great community, as we already mentioned,
Absolutely.
but it's a kind of a safe space for an awful lot of people who are into the same sort of activities, they're into the same ideals, and it's almost like I wouldn't say a religion, but the same ethos with all of you, really, isn't it?
What it comes down to it is, for the rest of the year, you will feel like an island unto yourself, being the one person in your community who just has these really intense, nerdy loves. And then for select weekends throughout the year, you have Dublin Comic Con, you have other conventions, you have like conventions that are hosted by universities like Kaisoko-con in UCC or Akuma-con in Galway. And you'll go there, and for a weekend, you will just be surrounded by a community, thousands of people around you that all love the same things, all want to share in the same joy, and just have fun together.
I find it's like the Nerd Olympics, and I'm a card
It really
carrying
is.
nerd. Like
It
I'm
really
just
is.
telling Sean, I did my thesis on Star Trek in college,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm with my 5 here. I'm delighted. So what to expect over the next, I know next weekend, what can people do? I mean, I know you don't, for a lot of people, there's a lot of money spent in Comic-Con, but if you're wandering around, can people just come up to you guys and take a picture?
It's no problem at all. Most cosplayers will allow you to come up, take pictures with them. Some people will actually ask for autographs as well as the character, you know, so it's the way it goes. It's kind of how they do it in Disney, the characters can sign the autographs. So some people will do that, but it's mostly photographs, videos. Like, I see a lot of young kids going, oh, there's Spider-Man, oh, there's Batman, oh, there's a Predator run the other direction. So it's so many different things, you know, and people they just love it, especially young kids. Even people who have disabilities and all that, they're catered for as well. There's quiet rooms at Dublin Comic Con, so it's a bit of everything for everybody.
So inclusive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got plenty more. I've gotten too familiar with Batman here, who had me in a headlock only moments ago with a very strong and very impressive costume. How much of it did you make yourself? How much was bought?
The cowl I made myself just there recently. Bits of it were bought from different places, Australia, America. That's what this community as well. You can't really buy a costume like this. You have to build it from different makers in different parts of the world. So.
Right, and is there kind of extra brownie points if you've built it yourself within the community, or is it just kind of what's expected?
Well, at the cosplay type of things, it's sort of encouraged that you sort of try and build it yourself. So most of the stuff I got this a good few years, but more recent stuff I've built mostly myself.
How did you build the cowl? Because it does remind me of like Batman Begins when he's hammering out the stuff in the Batcave.
Yeah, from the Dark Knight Christopher Nolan one. A friend of mine got a scan of a production used cowl from the movie, and then we 3D printed it. Got it all nice and smooth sanded. Then I make silicone molds, and then I cast the urethane rubber in the mold, and this is what you get out of it.
This is what you get out. Incredibly impressive. And like, how much time, how much dedication do you put into it? Was this years in the working? Is it months? How long did you take?
This probably is over a few years. This costume.
Right.
Yeah. It gets so serious. I got a workshop built on the side of my house and everything because it was sort of getting a bit out of control. Well, it is out of control. I have a workshop with the fiberglass and stuff. You can't really use that in the house. So
right.
So this one, all costumes, different lengths of time, but this one's probably about 4 or 5 years.
I'm doing it about 10 years now, but yeah.
So you literally have made your own Batcave in order to pull this together.
Basically, yeah.
And I'm kind of afraid to ask this guy a question. How long did your costume take to make?
It's here.
Oh Lord, I don't even know where you are.
Okay.
Very talkative guy.
Oh,
well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that answer. Thank you very much for that. That guy is right in there, and he's embracing the alien mode here.
Aliens don't talk, people. This we know.
This we know. This is without doubt though one of the most impressive ones I've ever seen. Certainly. When you get into this kind of community, like, is there a pressure on to really up your game each time you go to an event like this?
There is. We're part of Real Icons, and with Real Icons, we kind of have the best of the best. We kind of, I suppose, in the group of us, we're all creators. There's amazing seamstress, there's amazing creators like this. Christy was on, we had him on the red carpet a couple of days ago for the movie premiere. And as you can see, this is the kind of stuff that they would look for. So he literally looks like he stepped out of a movie.
Yeah.
Do you know? But as I said, we have such good characters, the likes of Al, who'd be amazing at moulding and doing different things. So yeah, it is, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, it is. How much of a community is there in Ireland? Like, how many are there?
There is a huge, there's costumers and then there's cosplayers, and we all come together. The costumers in Real Icons, we have the likes of movie cars, we have accurate costumes and so on, and then there's the cosplayers who join in, and we all come together, especially at Dublin Comic Con. We all are there to have fun.
Right, and it seems to be a very supportive community, that if you're someone who's only, because I can imagine trying to get the first steps into it are probably hard, like where you learn the craft and the expertise, but that everyone has encouraged you on, even if you're first your time and you mightn't be great.
Do you know, we're like a big family. You can message anyone on Real Icons for a bit of advice, whether it's for mould and whether it's for seamstress, whatever it may be, or just to ask questions about the character and what way should I position myself or whatever it is. Yeah, we're like a big family.
Jericho, talk us through, I feel like on the red carpet, talk us through what you're wearing, who you're wearing.
An Odegaard armor from the game Monster Hunter World. I've crafted all of these armor parts myself. These are all hand patterned by myself and all carved. You see all these little details.
It's amazing, like the fine detail gone into it. Look here, you can get in now close on the breastplate. It's absolutely outstanding.
This is hours of sanding, hours of hand patterning and custom fitting each part to the armor to make all of these raised details. And like even this part is handmade as well, to make like an articulate finger armor. It's a real joy to make something from a game into real life.
Yeah, and you can see you're beaming with it. So how did you take the pattern? Did you get a picture of someone in the game and then say, how would this work in 3D in real life?
This is literally paper and tape and a marker, and just seeing the shape, you know, on paper and hoping that it would work when I transfer it to foam. And it has taken plenty of trial and error to create the shape that I wanted, and luckily, yes, plenty of trial and error to get the two fit to my body, nice and bespoke.
And is it snug? I mean, is it something you can wear? You're going to be wearing it for days.
Yeah. I mean, I've patterned it to my body, so ideally it is comfortable. Like this hat, the first run of this hat, I designed it way too large, and it was past my shoulders, and I'm like, how am I going to travel? How am I going to get through doors? So I had to recut this. So I had to do this twice, actually. So it's trial and error, really, just trying my best to make something from a game. And a lot of fantasy armors, they don't work in real life.
Right.
They are fantasy, you know. So just really adapting the design.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, comfortable.
I have to go back to Batman here because there's a very disturbing purple rabbit now. It's scaring me. I'm not going to lie to you, it's scaring me. Fill us in.
I forgot to mention there as well, because we get so much into it now. Like of kids, 10 and 11-year-olds, Zoe and everything. So. Sorry.
That's my fault. So tell us, purple rabbit, sorry, I digress.
Yeah. I've even got them, but now at the stage where kids are involved, so I've a 10-year-old Zoe and a 9-year-old Erica, and she saw the Five Nights at Freddy movie.
They're all obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy, aren't they?
I don't know if they're supposed to be seeing it, but
yeah,
they saw
they
it.
are.
And so this particular character, Bonnie, is a rabbit in the movie that she liked, so I spent the last March, I did about 2 months non-stop to get that done, but she wears that at the Comic Cons. And all of our kids, I made all of that, every part.
Wow. That's absolutely brilliant. And, you know, it is for all the family. It is something great to get involved with. I mean, whether you're tiny, I've seen babies actually dressed up as what's his name?
Grogu.
I always get it wrong. Grogu, actually, last year I did. It was absolutely hilarious. So you can actually, at any age, shape or size, get involved in this.
Yeah, no, mine are going since 1. We started dressing them up, and now they have friends with all the other members that really like that. So they love coming to because they're going to see all their friends again.
Yeah.
So,
now, I just to explain, I kept calling Grogu Baby Yoda, and I got given out to, so that's why I stumbled there. I'm very sorry. Yeah. My bad, nerd. Vibes going way down. Listen, thank you all so much for joining us on the show today. And this is just a taste, by the way, of what you can see next weekend at Comic-Con. And of course, a reminder, you can catch them all next weekend at the Convention Centre. There with tickets still available at DublinComicCon.com.
Now, still to come, it wouldn't be a normal Saturday here in Ireland AM with some animals. We'll be finding out why some pesky parakeets have been ruffling a few people's feathers, if I make it back to the studio, that is.
Míle fáilte over Rashgo, Ireland AM. Now, you may have noticed a few pesky parakeets have been making the headlines over the last week.
As an estimated few dozen of the birds have escaped and are around Dublin and beyond. Some are saying that they're the squawk of the town. We had the cheese puns earlier, and now we're into the bird puns. Oh.
Here to tell us why they've been ruffling some people's feathers is our favourite veterinarian, Dr. Bobby Ortez. Great to see you, Bobby.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me back.
So we have some rogue parakeets on the loose. These are not a bird native to Ireland.
No, they are not. I don't think we see this kind of colour and animals flying around.
Are they common as a pet in Ireland?
I think they would be. Definitely, like, parrots would be quite common. And I think we call these guys, they are parrots or parakeets. It's just a different big classification. They're all parrots, and then the smaller parrots, the ones that might not speak as well, or we think they can train, but these guys can actually learn quite a few different words. We call them parakeets, and generally the smaller ones, budgies and something like that, would be called parakeets.
Okay, and when do they get brought into Ireland? Are they a relatively new pet, like?
It wouldn't be a new pet, no. They've been around for a long time, but I think it's just more and more of people maybe not realizing how to care for them, or people maybe on purpose just wanting to release them. And what's really interesting is that these guys aren't migratory birds, so it's not like they're traveling due to climate change or things like that. They stay in one area, but they're highly adaptable, which we didn't think was possible. Seeing that they're from really warmer climates, so they're doing quite well here.
So they're impressive, really.
I think so, yeah.
And they're now living in some small communities in the wild in Ireland.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so unfortunately, because they're being released, they adapt really well to areas in urban areas and can adapt to even eating human food. And they're actually taking spots from local native species, so actually taking their spots in trees and little caves and things like that they're making for their own home. So we're not really sure exactly, because they're still a newly invasive species, we're not sure the ecological impacts they're going to have. But whenever you introduce a new species, we are a bit concerned about that.
Yeah, and how many are we kind of seeing now in the wild as such in Ireland?
Yeah, there's still not too many. They've only found about, I think, 3 or 4 larger populations of, I think, maybe more than 10 to 20.
Okay.
But around the world, all over Europe, there's flocks that reported of nearly hundreds of them. So they start reproducing and they start getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it becomes more difficult to kind of see what's going on.
And I've heard that there's actually some groups of them in Drumcondra and Fairview at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's not just concerts you're hearing, guys. It's the beautiful squawks of the parakeets, because they're noisy, aren't they?
Yes, they are very noisy. These guys are being very tame and quiet right now, but they can be quite loud, and they can, as I said, they can start to learn, imitate, and pick up on certain words, and can talk, have a limited vocabulary, but can,
What have we seen from other countries where they're gone in the wild? Because you were saying about some parks in the UK, for example, where there's hundreds of them.
Yeah. Again, they're just, as they're being released, I think they're actually becoming a bit of an attraction where people then go to see them, and then I think it then reinforces it. They're being fed, they're being well taken care of, so that they're thriving. So I think it's something really important that as we're bringing animals that are not native to these countries and keeping them as pets, I think it's really important to understand how they're cared for, the reasons we're bringing them in. And again, even though these guys are really happy in this small cage, this is just a transport cage, these two are really well taken care of. They actually get a huge room in their house, and their actual cage would be much larger than this. So even something like this wouldn't be appropriate even for one of these birds to live in.
Yeah, like how much space do they need to have a happy life? Because I always feel a bit bad with birds and caging up birds in a house, and you kind of think, oh, you should be wild and you should be free.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are flight trained, so they're really good. They fly around the house. That's why one of the reasons we were seeing if we could have them out, but we just said for their own safety, we're going to keep them in the cage. But I mean, that's a really good question, because most birds when you think they have wings for a reason, they fly.
Yeah.
And you think of even finches or small little budgies that we bring inside and keep them in small cages. You know, we want to get, any bird should have as much room as we can possibly give them. I even have many clients that will come in with their macaws and show me videos of them flight trained, flying around their homes.
Oh.
I mean, going off literally a mile down the road and being able to see them and flying back to them.
Wow.
So, I mean, really that the question keeps going on of how much space, as much as you can give them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said they're invasive species in Ireland. So should we be worried about biodiversity? Like, are they taking resources from some of our native birds?
Yeah, absolutely. We know they are. We just aren't able to see the impacts just yet. And that's, again, that's one of the problems that we see with lots of things when we introduce these animals. So unfortunately, we want to stop people from, you know, doing that. And it's not something that we want to enforce, but I think it's something to be aware of and kind of monitor.
And what kind of species are they pushing out? Like, do they berries? Do they scraps of
Yeah,
food?
so
Or
it'd just be all of the normal kind of, we've the robins, finches, random birds that we'd normally see in parks. It's going to go right up against the same competition against those, the native birds there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping you'd say they're pushing the seagulls out because they've really been grinding my gears at the moment. But and they're nicer looking than seagulls as well. So talk to us about parakeets as pets.
Yeah, yeah. I think they do make really, really good pets, but as we were saying, to give them as much space as we can. And as last time I was on, it was really nice to have birds as well. I think they really make great pets because they can be so social. They can bond with their owners, and even it was interesting to see these two bond with their owner that brought them in and how they're interacting. It's really, really cool to see that. But it's really important that all these parrots, when we're talking about where they're from and the diets that they eat, it's so important to make sure that we are trying to give them a balanced diet as well. So they make great pets, but they make good pets for educated owners that know how to care for them properly and give them the husbandry and the food and diet that they need.
Is that part of why we're seeing the wild populations? Because people maybe get them, they think, oh, this is a lovely novelty, and then they're loud in the house, you get sick of them, they let them out a window by accident.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I definitely think that. And again, I think these are the ones that we're seeing is because they're adapting so well to the Irish climate. And I do wonder about the number of birds that are released that don't adapt and don't make it, you know, and survive. But I work with a lot of different charities and rescue organizations, and the number of birds that they see, a number of animals all across the board, but the number of parrots, these, you know, people think huge macaws and all these guys and don't realize how loud they are, how much time they take, and how it really is, for any size bird, it's an entire life change. You know, these birds are bonded to you. These guys can get very sick just if you leave them for a couple of weeks to go on your holidays.
They pine, do they?
Yeah, yeah, and and actually, because they're so bonded, and again, these guys are kept, it's good to keep them in pairs, but many people will keep one bird just for themselves because they bond closer with you, but can have issues with that.
Yeah. It's really sad, isn't it? Like, it's a really sad thing to see that close and then they're let go and sort of literally left to fend for themselves.
Would you be suggesting almost like a vetting process before people get a pet like this? I mean, it should be across the board. Like, there's a question like that about dogs as well. There's a huge issue with dogs being dumped in this country as well. Would you like to see us go in that kind of direction?
I think it's as a vet, it's a huge question that we get asked all the time because I think there's one side is that there's so many animals in need of homes and we want to provide for them, but at the other side there's should we have these animals going to appropriate homes? I'm kind of in between, but I do think that, especially for exotic species and these guys that do take so much work and take a lot of extra education, that I do feel that there should be kind of a education course that should be kind of mandatory, something like that, that people know what they're getting themselves into for the animal's sake, for their welfare.
So if there are people watching who think that they could take care of them and maybe have the space to let them roam a little bit, where can they go to rescue, and are there many in need of rescue?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's loads of different parrot rescues around. Even the DSPCA, the major rescues would have these animals that are coming through, and a lot of people that are unfortunately always looking to get rid of them. I think posting them up on different websites and things like that, you know, and those you never want to see that because these people, you don't know the condition they're coming in. But I think if you are interested, there's loads of resources. Spend as much time as you can, and also important, find either a really good pet shop that really knows what they're talking about, or a veterinarian that is savvy when it comes to birds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, listen, thanks so much for coming in and introducing us to these two little guys. And
they were very well behaved.
Very well behaved. Yeah. They'll start talking now the second that the camera stopped rolling. For more tips and tricks for looking after your family pet, head over to Dr. God, who spelled that out? Dog Tour Bob on Instagram.
Did you get it now?
I thought it was a website, or there was like dog.doctor.
After the break, we're having a cheeky bit of pasta in the kitchen. None for these guys, though. We'll be back in a few.
You're very welcome back to Ireland AM. Earlier, Chef Charlo wowed us with a delicious starter. Oh, good God. And now he's back with the main event. Cheesy as ever, that's me.
It was unbelievable. It's just so easy. It's right there. Charlo, what excellent surprise have you got for us this time?
I have to say, you're on top form today. Top form. Throwing it at
We're
me.
trying.
Left, right, and centre. OK, so I'm doing a Cajun chicken linguine pasta dish. And it's a fantastic dish. We'll put it together now in a second. A few little elements to it. But it's, I'm just thinking of the students going back to college and, you know, going to their, and it's very expensive. It's very expensive for their rent and for their books and all that. But this dish is really, really, you know, it's easy on the pocket. And it's also, it's a real crowd pleaser, but it's also real filling as well because we have low pasta element of chicken and everything's cheap and cheerful in this dish, OK?
Yeah.
So first thing I've done is I've sliced the chicken really thinly, OK?
Yeah.
So this is a real quick dish to assemble. I've also carried that forward with my vegetables. So we three breasts of chicken there and I've sliced them real thinly. I have mushrooms, red onions, red peppers, yellow peppers, sliced real thinly as well. Same team. We've got some sliced scallions, some tomatoes, Parmesan cheese, garlic, a little bit of Cajun spice, low-fat cheese. We'll come to that in a second. A little bit of chicken stock, a bit of basil, and a bit of flour. Okay?
Yeah, you've got all the veg in, which I think sometimes students can overlook.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. What I've done then is I've sautéed off the chicken straight away, just to save time. I've taken it off, just leaving it set aside for a minute. I have a hot pan on, and I'm going to then sauté my vegetables. And I've left the sediment. I've left the sediment in the bottom of the pan. We can all smell that.
Flavour.
The chicken, yes. And just before I sautéed the chicken, I added a little bit of oil to the chicken, and then a teaspoon of Cajun spice.
Yeah. Now, Cajun and pasta is not two things I would ever think would go hand in hand, really.
Yeah, well, they're fantastic. Cajun spice is like a mixture of a lot of spices, but it's a real sort of a sweet, medium heat. A lot of people have cayenne pepper or they'll have chili powder in their store cupboard. Again, a teaspoon of Cajun spice is not going to, you know, give you a too high temperature of a dish, but at the same time, it's very versatile. Works really, really well with chicken, pork, and lamb.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's a fantastic spice to have. What I'm doing here now is I have a high heat, so it's really essential that you have a high heat. We're going to cook the vegetables really, really quickly here. Little drop of olive oil.
So it's important to chop them thinly and cook them quickly.
Exactly, and you can hear the sizzle.
Yeah.
You have to hear the sizzle. I keep on saying that at any demonstration I do. Sizzle is so important because the sizzle means you're caramelising and you're adding flavour. You asked me just before we came on there, Elaine, what's the best way to cook mushrooms? And I think mushrooms, the best end product for mushrooms is high heat, very, very fast, but caramelise and get some colour on your mushrooms. So that's what I'm trying to do here with the veg. Now I'm putting in 3 cloves of garlic. Again, cut back if you're not so heavy-handed on your garlic and you don't like the spice. I've got my microplane here. In goes the garlic. Now I've got my heat up here, full blast, okay?
Okay, all the way
and we're scraping the bottom. See there? That's where the flavour is. I'm scraping all that. Look at that, I'm cleaning my pan, but I'm scraping. And now what I'm going to do is...
all the caramelisation is just going through that veg there.
We're adding in tomatoes. Tomatoes are going to break down and add to the sauce, add to the flavour. So this sauce is going to be a low-fat sauce. You can see now once the tomatoes have hit the heat, they start to break down, the juices are released.
Now, would you use a tin of chopped tomatoes or always fresh tomatoes there?
I've just used fresh tomatoes there. Much better than the tin tomatoes. The tin tomatoes a lot of juice. You want to try and just get a nice sort of balance on your sauce here. Now, a little bit of chicken stock. So we're doing a creamy sauce, but it's a low-fat sauce. So a little bit of chicken stock. We're adding a little bit of chicken stock in. So no wine, no cream in this recipe.
Okay.
Low-fat cream cheese.
Ah, that's your secret.
That's our secret, OK? So in goes, this gives you a creamy element, but it's low-fat, OK? So if anyone that's watching the calories there, anyone that's, you know, training and wants to keep their ethos of their healthy eating going through, OK?
And how much do you put in? About 2/3 of that, did you?
You're going to look. You can add again, OK? You're going to look and have a look. You're just trying to... You can see there we're creating now a nice little sauce here.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my chicken. There's a little bit of residue as well. That's all flavour.
Yeah.
Don't try it out. In goes your chicken, OK?
Great.
Have your linguine on, boiling. Again, look at the packet. It's about 80 grams per portion, OK? I've got 3 portions in here. Boil them all for about 10 minutes, all right? A little bit, if you're not happy with your sauce, you want to take it, just a little bit of flour. Just sprinkle a little bit of flour.
That's just normal flour,
just
corn
normal
flour?
plain flour,
yeah.
OK? Sprinkle, that'll help. A bit of cracked black pepper. You can see my sauce now is thickening. That's fine. Don't worry about if it thickens too much, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of Parmesan cheese, and again, Parmesan cheese will melt and it'll add to the flavour.
I know you said this is low fat, Charlo. It's getting more calorific by the second.
Just a touch, just a suspicion.
I think your version of low fat and mine might be slightly different, but it's worth every bit because it smells absolutely delicious.
Now, a little bit of fresh basil, okay? I've basil here, and I've got some parsley, okay?
Yeah.
A little bit of and I like, herbs or pastas works very, very well.
Yeah, and the fresh ones are particularly
fresh
nice,
ones,
aren't
the smell of the aromas, yeah, okay.
There's so much free in supermarkets now. You've no excuse really to use the dried ones.
No, exactly.
You don't need to really.
No.
Even if you end up buying a new.
Now, you might be worried
every time. Yeah.
You might be worried that your pasta sauce looks a little bit thick, all right?
Yeah.
Now you see there, it's nice and creamy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that looks gorgeous.
And it's all come together. You have all your vegetables and your 5 a day and all that going on there, okay? So I'm just going to strain off your linguine. All right.
Charlotte, pasta for breakfast suddenly sounds like a really good idea.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at this now.
Well, technically it's brunch time now, nearly.
It is.
So, yeah.
It is.
So strain your linguine, add it in. Keep the juice.
Oh, yes.
In case you need.
Exactly.
Ah, yes.
So
pasta sauce is very important.
Exactly. So we have now the most wonderful, amazing, really cheap and easy on the pocket dish here of Cajun chicken pasta and low-fat sauce. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Now you can serve it with a little bit of loaf bread, but pita bread is probably the best if you're keeping low fat. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. And what I always say to people is taste. So taste, add, taste.
Can I taste?
You took the words right out of me.
She's eager.
Thank you.
Now, so here we go.
Brunch is served.
Now, as you can see.
Thank you. Okay, that's loads. I'm starving, Charlotte. I'm starving. For God's sake. As you can see, I'm falling away to nothing.
Again, a little drizzle of natural yogurt over that if you like, but it's a great dish, and I think especially if you're looking for something when you're going back with your flatmates for college.
Yes.
It is easy on the pocket. That yields you get 3 or 4 portions out of that.
Yeah.
And it's
absolutely delicious, and the crunch in the vegetables is lovely.
Yeah.
It really, really tastes delicious.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Charlotte.
no problem. Can I just say one thing? I'm down in Tullow Agricultural Show tomorrow, 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock, 2 demonstrations in the Quality Food Pavilion. So I'll see you there, folks.
You don't want to miss it.
The party started.
Oh, Charlotte, thank you so much.
A legend. Now, full recipe details are on our website, and you can find more from Charlotte on charlottethechef.ie.
Charlotte was good enough to double cook for us today, so let's remind ourselves of the earlier recipe for crispy cheese rolls.
Sprinkle some crumbled feta cheese, parmesan and mozzarella over a pastry on a chopping board. Add your herbs and cracked black pepper on top, then brush with your beaten egg. Roll your pastry halfway into a cylinder shape, then place into a heated oven for 6 to 8 minutes or until golden brown. Leave to drain while mixing your yogurt and mint to create a sauce, then serve with a side of salad. Look at the crisp on that, absolutely delicious. Coming up tomorrow, with the World Health Organization declaring Mpox as a global public health emergency, we will have all the details you need to know.
Plus, from Ireland's first female president to becoming a true warrior for climate justice. In her most candid interview yet, Mary Robinson tells us how she's still fighting for a better future for Ireland.
And as Kylie takes the stage at Leisure Picnic, we'll be looking back at the career and pop cultural impact of the Princess of Pop.
All that, plus we're stealing the style of Emily in Paris. It's all coming up tomorrow from 9.
Now, earlier on, we had some cosplayers on from Comic-Con. Very, very impressive cosplayers. Anne-Marie says that was very sweet. Batman's some dad making that whole costume for his daughter.
Cheers, Palpatine. I can't wait to see you in my nightmares tonight. That's in from Anne. I have to agree. That was absolutely terrifying.
Pat has texted as well. He was a much better Batman than Del Boy in Only Fools and Horses. In fairness, he absolutely was. And someone mysteriously named Bruce said that he is being the father who never was, that he never had by making the costumes for his kid. Did Bruce Wayne text in there as well?
I mean, that's what it sounds like. Sinead says that poor alien, the mask was so heavy, his head was drooping the whole time. I just wanted to give him a hug.
Oh,
that's rare.
Yeah. And Ollie says, loving Elaine's zebra costume.
How very dare you, Ollie?
Yeah, Bruce, I'm getting on, Maureen. This is what I
She looks gorgeous. Yeah. You'll find her in the club tonight.
Yeah, the over 40 section penned off with all the rest of them.
Enjoy your Saturdays.
Bye.